Abram Tech X50s, Watchmen soundtrack from the HBO series, which was, it was good. God, such good actors in it, but it was the end. I don't know. Anyway, Abram Tech sent me these, and they're available on Amazon, and their current price is $500 with a $100 coupon. Now, when I got them like 2 months ago, their price was $500 with a $100 coupon. So I'm pretty sure these are $400 speakers. I just want to point that out there. Because they haven't ever gone up or down in price. It's always a coupon, always $100 off. So they're a self-powered set with a remote control. They have Bluetooth. They have, let's see, they have phono input, a pre-output, which is interesting to have. And then 3.5 millimeter TV ARC HDMI. It has bass adjustability. Let me see the remote. I'll give you the basic rundown of this son of a bitch. The remote looks very SMSL topping. It's not very fancy. Power, mute. A ring of inputs. Phono, USB, auxiliary, bass, like the fish is an input. Optical and TV. I'm just kidding. Bass is a bass adjustment. Then you have left and right, play, pause, and up and down. It's pretty standard, but we're looking at a $400 set of speakers, and they look remarkably similar in like size to the Vanna2 T1 Encores. Do you guys remember the Vanna2 T1 Encores? It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot like 2 years, because there's so many things that competed with it. The Kanto Tux were competing with it. The Triangle Alara or LNO1As were competing with it. What else? Every Swan and Edifier that ever existed was competing with the Vanna2 T1 Encores. I will link to the Vanna2 T1 Encores. But there hasn't been anything new in that sort of speaker space, and like these self-powered, sort of $500, sort of affordable, sort of do-it-all speakers. Not in a while, not at least a couple months. So when Abram Tech was like, hey, we have this speaker, it's $500, you want to review it? I'm like, that doesn't look like shit. It's a little bit like, it's gray and black, which I like, a little more color and vibrance in my life. Or you have to cover things with anime girls, or else it's just real boring. But all right, you know what? All right, piano black front. No, I should dust this. No dust cap. We've got a metal tweeter in there, which is behind this very, very ornate little hexagon grill. The speaker itself, this is the passive one. Slot port. The connection between the left and right speaker is a 4-pin, which for anyone who's been following the game, like the Kanto Tux are just a speaker wire from left to right. When you have 4 wires and 2 drivers, that means each speaker's getting its own input from that side, which means it's using DSP correction, or at least it's not using a physical crossover, which is a benefit, is not using a physical crossover. The triangles use physical crossovers. The Vanna2s do not. Edifiers use physical crossovers, and Swans do not. I think. I don't remember how the Edifier is connected, although some of them connect just with wireless. The wire that goes between the two is a little bit short for what I'd like. Like, this is it. It's probably 10 feet. So if you wanted to get a good wide berth, like I got here, let's see, 10, 20, 30, about 6 feet wide. That's 6 feet from speaker to speaker. If you go 6 feet from speaker to speaker, which is not that wide, especially if you're going to look for that perfect triangle. For those of you, I haven't done one of these in a while where I'm like, hey, by the way, here's a little bit of knowledge you should know. The optimal listening space is usually, however far apart the speakers are, you should be to the speakers. So if they're 6 feet from there to there, or 72 inches from there to there, or 2.1 meters, 1.9 meters from there to there, then you should be 1.9 meters from that speaker and 1.9 meters from that speaker. That's the optimal listening area. And that wire falls a little bit literally short, like it doesn't even touch the ground. So you'd have to bring them a little bit closer. They work on a desk. I had them on a desk temporarily. I really wouldn't use it as a judging point, but I did have to just get them going at the start. What else is there to look at on the remote? Nothing to really look at the remote. Let's just flip this son of a bitch. I want to play music. Hold on. Let's play something that's not like a mono 1940s. I'm so into that. I'm going to put that on repeat and put the fireplace on repeat and put the Abram Tech on repeat, and we're going to run with it. Okay, there's that then. What the fucking Evangelion song is this? Separation Anxiety. What's the replay gain on it? Oh, 0.42 decibels higher. Okay, cool. Just had to check that statistic. Back of the unit. Am I hitting anything? Make sure I'm not hitting anything. Relatively basic. A TV ARC, which I don't understand the HDMI input. Does that mean your TV, you plug your TV with your ports and there's a TV output ARC port and you run that to this instead of an optical cable? It used to just be an optical cable because this isn't going to do surround sound, so I just use the optical cable. USB is a USB-A, which, I'm sorry, USB-B, I think that's a B, which is the slot one, which is like, what? So I'd have to go check the box to see if it comes with an A to a B to B, because those things are, I hate it, but I guess I wanted to fit it on a board. Your optical cable is what I'm feeding this with. Your aux cable is there, 3.5. You do have a phono with a ground, so it has a built-in phono preamp. If you switch it to that, you got a lot of noise because there's nothing hooked up, no ground hooked up. I was considering whipping out my turntable to test it with this, but at the same point, the puffin exists, and if you're not using a digital fucking DSP phono preamp, get out. You do have two outputs. You could call them subwoofer outputs, but in general, they're just outputs in general. Like, you just use them for anything. They're not labeled sub. They're not going to do any sort of crossover points. It's just, by the way, here's all the sound you get again, which is convenient. I guess you could use them for a sub. Probably most likely you're going to be using it to hook up a sub, but it doesn't do anything special with it. Your two knobs, volume and press to select, long press to Bluetooth pair. So you could change the inputs with this in case you lose the remote or you just want to do it manually. The volume knob is digital, and it will spin infinitely, even though it goes click, 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 click. So let's turn it back a little bit. And here's the weird part. The bass knob, and there's only bass. All the other speakers I mentioned have bass, treble. Sometimes I do like reversing speakers. There's no options on these. I love the Kanto Tux ability to be powered speaker is the left, or flip a switch, powered speaker is the right. So that wherever is most convenient to plug it in, you can put that speaker on that side because it doesn't really matter because the speakers will just switch which side sound comes out of. Not this, not this, not Swans. There's a whole bunch of don't do it. And it's annoying because it's got to be a simple little thing that's just like, Like if you're using the auxiliary, it'd be difficult because using a 3.5, you have to reverse the other end of the RCAs, but whatever. So the bass knob has a -5, +5, and 0, right? And it's another digital clicky, but it infinitely spins. So if you set it to 0, it's not 0. I turned it to the right, which means more. If I keep turning it to the right, now it's at +5. Now I keep turning it to the right, now it's at -5, and turn it back up at 0. I don't believe, let's test it real quick, because actually this is a perfect song for it too. Which one of these remotes will unpause my music? Oh, I should probably say, the one like blaring flaw in these speakers is not the sound. They sound fucking great. There's a little bit of port chuffing we'll get to on when you're really cranking it, but the volume control is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Play. Right now the music's playing. I'm going to raise volume. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Actually, it's gotten pretty good. I thought it was, when you turn the knob in the back, it's like that much. It goes click, 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 and you just have immediately loud volume. So if you just gently hit this, it goes nice and slow. If you hold this volume knob down, well, we're at 15, which is the maximum. So if you hold it down at the bottom, ready? It blinks 4 times and we're at the bottom. You hold it down up and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's done. We're at the maximum volume now. There's no indicator saying it's going up. It's just, I'm changing. Blink, blink, I'm changing. God, they fucking sound good. So the bass knob, you have a bass button here which lets you click it, and then that green LED turns white, and then you can adjust up and down either with the regular volume, and then it locks in place and it's good to go. Problem is, I have no idea how to make the bass reset to like not adjusted. So since I got this set, I turned the bass up all the way and I'm like, that sounds pretty good. I want to take it down a notch though. And then I'm like, well, let me put it back to default so I could do the review with that in the default mode, and there's no way to default it. So it's just, bass is whatever you dream it to be. It's like a Disney movie. So you basically get it, and you're gonna tweak the bass, and you're just gonna set it to where you like it, and there is no default. It's just up, or not quite up, or real low down. That's it. Did I hit the Netflix button on this old ass television? Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not. I gotta hit input. Input. Close the app. This is fun, isn't it? This is fun when you reprogram. The Flirc is, by the way, being used. In case you don't know, because people just come to my channel like, how are you using that blatant Vizia remote to control the music? See us? Over here in the computer, there's this little son of a bitch called the Flirc. I gotta link something that's affordable. It's like 20 bucks. It's a USB thing, you plug it in, you take any remote control with infrared, and you open the software and you be like, next track, play pause. And then you can actually program anything that's on there. So I can actually program in a full keyboard onto it if I really felt like clicking every single fucking button. I don't, but I just use it for like next track. That is insanely loud. We gotta lower this. Okay, hold on. 1, 2 notches, 3 notches. So yeah, I don't know where the bass is. Let's just turn the bass. The what I've been doing is basically crank it 3 times to the right and then go 1, 2 clicks back. That's where I like the bass. In this space with this much area around it, when you put this against a wall, you'll have more bass because it will hit and bounce back. Here it's sort of like, good luck. It's called diffusion. But even with it floating in the middle of a room, which is better for the acoustics of the front of the speaker, but not as good for low end, these things sound fucking great. They're competing at least with Audiophile in this price range. I don't know if they compete with Vanuatu, although I know what the one advantage Vanuatu has over these is that it has a passive radiator, and these are using a port, and the port does chuff. When you're kicking it off, when you're really fucking rocking these, the port chuffs. For those of you who don't know what port chuff is, do I have a Beastie Boys is great. You think it's gonna pull my channel for that? Like that one thing? There's a 9 Inch Nails song, so hold on. It's not quite the bass I'm looking for, but you could hear just a little bit, and it's hard to hear because it's literally happening in the back, but there's just a little bit of like the air coming out of the port going whoo, 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 whoo. It doesn't destroy the product. It's just something that I noticed because I've done so many high-end speakers, like these boot carts that don't have a port. They're either sealed speakers we've got here, or speakers that have another speaker in the back, so there's no actual air leaving the speaker. It's all trapped in there for years and years. Whoever breathed into your speaker when they built it is going to still have their air in there, which is kind of weird to think about. There you go. That's some dead mouse. So dead mouse will show that off perfectly. That's another thing. The air that's physically blowing out of here. Excuse me. I need a blow sampler. Will this work? Oh, this will work perfectly. So here's a little bag. Let me just. Do you understand now why that there's like a noise? Yeah, these things are trying real hard to make low end. Like if these were further against the wall, I'd be back there turning it up all the way and backing it off 9 notches, not 2. So they image phenomenally. They have great low end. They're tonally like on the money. They don't sound like a twisted, warped, like what the fuck's an Abram Tech? First of all, no idea who these guys are, where it comes from. If they stole the design, if it came up with it over years and years of research. They've got other things on Amazon that aren't speakers, so it's kind of like, I guess they bought some proprietary stuff from somebody and just implemented it and then put it in here. Because no one makes a speaker this good that isn't making speakers for a living. You're not making clock radios and coffee makers, and by the way, made a set of speakers and they're the Abram Tech X50s. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Because these sound like a kind of speaker that, you know, someone dedicates their life to putting together. These are absolutely sound-wise competing with all the speakers I listed earlier. Canto Tux, Vanitus, Swans, Edifiers, Triangle Alaras. It's like, close your eyes, tell me which ones these are, and you're gonna be like, Alaras? The only thing that gives it away is at the highest volumes, which is what we're at right now, you can hear the port making noise. It's the only flaw of the whole speaker. I don't even really hate the looks. Like, they don't have a custom, like a grill to cover anything, but I would, you know, most people never put that shit on anyway. There's dirt on it. I have to scrape it off. But I can live with the piano black finish as long as the rest of the speaker isn't. It is just like a dark battleship gray vinyl. So at least it stands out. I've had so many speakers that just are one thing, black or gray or black or wood. So this is different. This is new. I like this. I'm okay with this. I like the way the tweeter looks, even though it's a metal tweeter, which historically has always been like a little harsh, and there's no way to adjust it, which worried the fuck out of me. You get your bass adjustment, you don't get a treble adjustment. But I sit here, John Wick comes on, and it's just clean and clear and airy, and it's doing this beautiful separation between all the instruments that happen in any way. Raison d'etre from Claymore. I'd have no problem putting this up in like a living room, because I think they're designed to be paired for a TV. Here's my 50-inch TV. Notice how big it is, and then you'd put these speakers next to it instead of a fucking soundbar. For $400, you get these instead of a soundbar. Soundbars are shitty plastic, and these are wood. Soundbars have not enough volume or large enough drivers. You're not going to find a 5 1/4. It's only a 5 1/4, but you're not going to find a 5 1/4 in a soundbar unless it's one of those big, silly $2,000 Klipsch soundbars. You're just better off with two speakers. Just buy two speakers. Soundbars are for chumps. You know who makes soundbars? TV companies, like Samsung. You know why Samsung and Sony make soundbars? Because they know the speakers in their TVs suck. Hey, why don't we make TV? Great. What do you want it to sound like? I don't care. Make it sound like shit. And then we'll sound this other thing that doesn't sound like shit, although the soundbar still sounds like shit compared to real speakers. It's all a scam. At least these are speakers. Speakers. DSP corrected, actual make volume, move air speakers. Aloe Black. Tombstone OST. Muse. Skip forward. The Pillows. And I can tell it's good imaging because that sound, that the guitar is not coming out of that speaker. It's coming out of that red, the back of that speaker. Like, how is it coming? How did you make sound go there? That's called imaging. Sound doesn't have to come from there, or even the dead center. It can come from anywhere along the way. Some speakers can even make it sound like it's coming from out there. Don't know how that works. That's some fucking magic. Richard Cheese. See right there, this is not exactly like a bassy track. This is Bob Mitzner acoustic metal, and I have it loud enough that I could hear the port like trying not to reverberate. So there's your flaw. There's your one character flaw. That's why a Vanuatu T1 Encore would probably beat these in a full fuck listening test, because it has no port. Yeah, a little lower. Now it's gone. 2 notches down from where I was, you can't hear it. It's quieter, but that's the one flaw is the port chuff. Does it make it a bad speaker? Absolutely not. Does it make it a speaker I got to tell you about that port chuff? Yeah, I'll tell you about the port chuff. But it has all the inputs you'd want, optical. It doesn't have coaxial digital. I'm sort of tossed between the two, but most TVs will not have a coaxial digital, will have a fiber optic. USB, again, weird that it's that port. I don't think you can load like a USB key with music in it, TV arc is that's the newest thing. Aux, if you want it, you got a 3.5, you run it to something else. Some TVs actually do have RCA outputs that you can use that are variable. So you can plug it into this, set this volume, never turn these on or off again, and then use the TV remote to control it. Otherwise, you're going to be using this remote to control it. And then it just happens to have a phono out because all you fucking hipsters in San Francisco gotta have your vinyl records, gotta play your turntables there, which actually I own a turntable and a ton of records, but I'm no hipster because I'm not actually playing it. Wait, that's what hipsters would do. Fuck. Spend thousands of dollars on records and never play them. I don't plan to do that. Oh, wait. The Ocean's Darkness? What the fuck is this? Ah. My God, they got loud too. And that was 2 presses. It was like... By the way, you don't notice the port choff when it's so loud your ears bleed. What is this? Who is this? Krim? K-R-I-M-H. Krim. Explore the ocean's darkness. No idea where this came from. No idea why I have it, but there it is. So now if anyone's like, you got any metal? I'm going to be like, yo, the ocean's darkness. Listen to the drum solos. These are phenomenal speakers. These are relatively inexpensive speakers at $400. I don't hate the way they look. They kind of look like if you designed a speaker for a video game and you couldn't like license an actual speaker, you'd be like, I don't know, make it a box, 2-tone, make a circle, and then like metal, and then this is a actual metal surround on this, not plastic. This is machined metal, and put like a metal hex thing on the front of it and hide all the hardware because you don't want to have the polygons for the screws. It looks like a generic speaker. And then it just happens to sound fucking phenomenal. The only cheap part, besides the port choff a little bit, is the LED port here is just like a little window. And it's like, yep, there's just an LED in there. And there isn't like a cover to put over it where it'll kind of like hide it. Like the Swans here, there's an LED port there, but it's behind the grill, so you can't actually see it. That one's just like, boom. So all you could do is if you wanted to cover that a little bit, you get like a little piece of that tint, like window tint, and just cut a circle and plop it on there. But I mean, after that, you're just gonna kick back and listen to Basement Jacks and fucking rock and roll. It sounds so good. They sound legit good. Like legitimately good. Like this should be a brand name good. Like if these are Edifiers or Swans or something from Triangle or Vanuatu came out with if these were Vanuatu, these would have to be Vanuatu T1 not E's, because these don't play quite as loud as the Encores do. Those are also like $600-700. These are $400. I'm calling them at $400. Phenomenal speaker. So run out today to get your Abram Tech X50.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Billy Joel, last play at Shea. Nobody knows but me. Let's skip ahead past that.
Got a friend that nobody knows but me. Ooh,
You know, these are phenomenal speakers. That's it. That's all I got to say. I'll do a sound demo. The sound demo will be linked in the description of this video and available on the second channel. There's a link over to that, which means I got to set up my rig, and I need another set of microphones. If anyone would like to donate like $1,500 microphones, I'm all for it, please, so I don't have to keep setting things up in multiple spots and taking it in and out. I've already broken one of the connectors from that. Links to these. Links to that wallpaper. There's not actually a link to that wallpaper because YouTube is being real weird. So there's what's it called? Resilio Sync that may or may not be working. I'm trying to get it working for everyone again. But you can get that wallpaper with a little code after it. If you popped it into Imgur, like open any other image on Imgur and then pop that in there in its place, and you should be able to get that wallpaper. Or just wait for me to fix the Horde, because then you get every wallpaper I've ever used on the channel. Patreon and Subscribe Star. Support this channel. Abram Tech sent me these, but if they end up in the yard sale, which I'm trying to think if I would keep something else instead of these or sell these instead of something else. But if they end up in the yard sale, if you'd like to bid on those things, that is available for patrons and subscribers. $5 a month lets you see these reviews early, participate in yard sales, lossless sound demos, possibly all sound demos, depending on how YouTube starts treating me in 2022. Because it's like, hey, you played a music. You're done. I'm like, ugh. So that are the three things there. $10 a month. $10 a month lets you join the private, behind-the-scenes patronage Telegram chat. And you could do that on either support platform. I know some people don't like Patreon, so they jump on the Subscribestar, which has an adult.subscribestar, which is very full of adult things. And you can talk to me and ask me questions directly through that, and ask questions to the group. The paywall group is actually very, very nice. They all are super helpful. I've never been in a more helpful audio environment in my life. Apparently, if you charge $10 at the door, everyone's nice to each other, which is fantastic. Which birdie nom nom is this? That's a weird birdie nom nom. Which Dragon Ball Z is this? Whoa. Oh, God. That's trying real hard to make bass tones, my boy. Anyway, $10 a month, private patronage chat, ask questions. Also get into a lifetime swap meet channel once you're in that chat, where you can buy, sell, and trade gear. If you need to ask me for a wallpaper, you just ask me for a wallpaper. Like, here's a wallpaper, buddy. If you can't figure out the wallpaper word, I'll help you out. I'll help you out, bruh. I'll help you out. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Enjoy the sound demo. Check out the other videos on the second channel if you're interested in like software reviews and the review series where I go back and look at all my old videos. And I'm not sure where this video is coming out, but I'm in SoCal Can Jam, which is nothing to do with speakers, and it's unfortunate. I wish there was like SoCal Can Jam with some sort of speaker listening space. That'd be great. I'm interested in that. Like affordable speaker systems, like $400, $400 to $2,000 for everything, amps and everything. That doesn't exist. I'll make that happen. Anyway, I'm Zeospantera. This has been Z Reviews. That wallpaper. I will see you all in the next one, whenever the hell that is, probably in 2 days, because that's how these work, and I'm